Good morning. Good morning, Dora. Um, Happy Monday. Um, I hope everyone had a good weekend. Getting ready for maybe some weather this week. I haven't really heard anything recently about it, so I don't know if we're still. I guess we're going to get some rain, but I don't know that it's going to be much more than that, which is good. Um, that's kind of the last thing we need to worry about. Although my husband said, um, you know, we still have the stuff that we put in the spring, like extra, I don't know, food and water and stuff. So I guess we're fine, more or less. Um, Morning, Deb. So yeah, we'll see. Um, if the power goes out or something like that, then I guess I won't see you. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe Wednesday, tomorrow or Wednesday, it might be coming through. See what happens. Hi, Sue. How are you? Um, so yeah, just be flexible. It's a little early this year for all this, I think. I thought we usually had hurricanes and tropical storms in September. Always seems to be when we get something. I know because that's when we usually try to go to the beach sometime in the beginning of September, and frequently we choose the week that's gonna that ends up happening. So half of the week gets rained out, or um, some of the week. One year we just didn't even go because I forget what it was, but there was definitely a storm coming through, and we ended up getting some a lot of wind and rain up here, so we didn't go. But hopefully we made our reservations this year. We'll see what's happening in September, if we are going to go or not. So far, so good. Um, it definitely is kind of a strange year for all that stuff. Um, not a lot of not a lot of certainty when it comes to making your plans. So everybody's, I think, doing things kind of spur of the moment or short-term trip, which isn't so bad. It's Sometimes that's the most sort of fun of all, is just kind of doing things um, spontaneously and seeing what's available, and just going from there. I think there's a lot less, the expectations are less on trips like that, so when you have planned something for 6 months and you finally get to it and it turns out to be not at all what you expected, sometimes there is a bit of a disappointment there. But um, when you're just picking up and going, you don't really have time to worry about that. So all right, well, we'll see what happens with that. So I think that's maybe not such a bad jumping off point. I was going to talk about letting go. So letting go of expectations. Um, so like if you've planned a trip, right, and you have all these things. I don't have as much trouble with this as some things. My husband, though, is sort of famous for this, where he kind of builds up in his mind an expectation of what an event or an activity, um, or a trip, or what it's going to be like. And we used to always have trouble with this with the kids, where he would want to do something fun with the kids, and he'd have this picture in his mind of how it was going to go. And of course, you can imagine it went completely contrary to that. Because whenever you get a bunch of kids together doing things, anything can happen, and usually it's some good stuff and some bad stuff. And when you have three kids, generally one is crying, one is happy, and one just wants to go home. So uh, that's pretty much the size of it. So if you if you go into doing things with this picture in your mind of what a successful day will be, you're bound to be disappointed. And even if you don't have as as many variables as that, it's still things rarely go to plan. So when you make your plans, make them loose, make them flexible, and um, maybe your um, idea of a successful completion of whatever it is you're doing needs to be adjusted, right? Maybe it's not so much the outcome as how do you feel when you're doing it? Did you have fun? Even if it didn't turn out to be what you thought it would be, was it fun? Could you have fun no matter what? So these are when we ask these questions of ourselves, we're doing a little we're giving ourselves a little test, a little evaluation, right? How am I doing? How far have I progressed? Um, when we first talk about all these yoga ideas and the yamas and the niyamas, some of them are familiar, and some of them aren't quite that familiar. But even the familiar things we may have trouble with. Just because we know what they are doesn't mean we've practiced them or um, that they come naturally. And usually there's a couple of those that we struggle with. So we can ask ourselves these questions to see how we're doing. Have we made any progress with this? Are we able to take these things a little lighter? Um, if something unusual happens, does that ruin your day? Or do you just kind of take it in stride and just keep going? That's obviously, we want the second one. If you weren't sure, yeah. Um, because all of these things, the yamas and the yamas, all the things we talk about, are really just designed to make your life more enjoyable, to make your path easier. And if you are struggling, that's maybe someplace you need to place some attention. Um, See what you can do to help move through whatever that is that's in your way. And a lot of times, um, I've noticed working the yamas and the niyamas over the years that um, things will come up at different times, and I'll struggle with different things. And so when I find myself having an issue, that to me is a sign that, you know, okay, now I need to move on to this for a little bit. See why. Why is this coming up now? Why am I having so much trouble? Um, I think of the yoga practice as kind of digging. It's almost like digging in the dirt and kind of excavating. Um, or some people think of it as like peeling away layers, right? And in the yoga philosophy, that's kind of how they describe it. We're moving through the layers, starting with the most superficial, and then getting a little more deeply into things as you go on. But I kind of like the idea of excavating, because I think it's important to know that all of these things are within us, right? We're not doing anything that we can't do. We're just kind of rediscovering these aspects of ourself that we may have covered up or forgotten. Um, and again, as we're working within, we are coming to knowledge. We are um, getting more um, sort of in tune with what's going on in the universe and when with ourselves, this the greater self, right? So we find ourself by moving towards that greater self. Um, and we are kind of digging through the dirt, getting back to when we were just a baby, when we were an infant, we were at peace. Um, we weren't shy or embarrassed or uh, anxious or worried. We felt at peace. We felt um, connected, right, to everything. Babies don't worry about where things, what's going to happen next. And, that's kids may get to that. And, right, depending on how insecure their childhood is, those fears and things come up sooner. But I'm talking about babies, right? Little infants. We want to get back there. We want to get back to that peace of mind. It's hard, right? I mean, that's hard because we have all of these worries and concerns. We know so much, right? We've got all this knowledge that babies don't have. Um, but babies, babies have that connection that we have lost, that we've let go of, right? So we can use all that knowledge that we have now to get back to that connection. And then we've kind of the best of both worlds, right? We got the connection, plus we have some knowledge to go with it. It's not a bad combination. But again, it isn't anything we're just doing for the heck of it. We're doing it because it will help us. It will help us in everything else in our life. So, um, letting go. And it's funny to think that we are going to gain something from letting go, right? But we do. We might superficially feel like we are losing something by letting go of uh, those tightly held expectations and beliefs. But we're actually gaining. We're gaining sort of a deeper connection and a faith. We're letting go of what we think we can control and moving into um, a belief that things are working themselves out as they should. Um, and that no matter what happens, we will figure out a way to get through it. And that's what we'll do. All right. So, asana. And as you're moving through the poses, you might be letting go of expectations and worries and any sort of judgment or thought that you might have about this pose or that pose or how you feel you should be doing. And if thoughts come up like that, just let them go. Come back to the breath, come back to um, that sensation of just peaceful movement. You just be a baby. but, but a baby doing yoga. Right? Okay. These are very weird. I got these new yoga pants, and they're like a bathing suit. Like they're like bathing suit material, I guess. It's really strange. It's not at all what I thought it would be. I don't know. I always get Now I'm putting an ad. I'm gonna do an ad, right? I always buy yoga pants at Old Navy because they're cheap. They're always on sale, and um, they always fit. You just buy them the same size, and they pretty much always fit. But these are strange. These are strange material. But it's been years, right? So I've been buying them there, and of course things change, right? Isn't that how it is? Whenever you decide, oh, you really like one particular thing and you buy it, and then after like a year or so, they completely change everything, and yeah. So I got new pants, and I don't really like them, but that's okay. I'm gonna let go of that and just move through practice. Sitting up tall, deep breath in and out. One more breath. And then chin down toward the chest. Let the head hang here for a minute, and then moving the head around. One way and then back the other. And back to center. Breath in, lean forward. And then we're moving around. One way and the other. Back up to your seat. Arms wide. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands together. Inhale wide. Exhale, hands together. Inhale and exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands, gaze up. And then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. And lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Inhale. Lift the arms. Right arm down by your side. Reach across with the left. We're kind of lifting, right? So we're lifting up the arm and then bringing it across. And switch sides. And arms back by your side. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Right hand on the left knee. Sit up tall. Hand behind you. Take a deep breath. And then twist. On the breath, we're lifting again through the body. Back to center and switch. That lift kind of gives you some space for your twist. Back to center. Tabletop. And then we're sitting back on the heels. Child's pose. back up. Tabletop. Take a few sets of cat-cow. Lowering the belly, lift up the head. There's your inhale, exhale, lifting through the spine, press down the hands. And just moving with your breath, inhales and exhales. Tabletop, and then sitting back on the heels again. Maybe bring the knees out to the side. Come on back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Walk out the legs a little bit. And step the feet up to the hands. Take a few breaths. Rising up slowly. Standing tall. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Drop the knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, moving to high plank. Hold here for a breath. And then lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up head and chest. And lower. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. One more breath. Then we're going to step the right foot up. Step the left knee down, arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Step the back foot up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Arms high. Back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift. Arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back with the left. Set your knee down, arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Stepping back, downward dog. Inhale, come on forward to high plank. Hold here. And then lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up, head and chest. And lower. Moving back. Tabletop to downward dog. Take one more breath. Then left foot steps up. Drop the knee on the right, arms overhead. And hands to the mat. Step the back foot up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, arms overhead. And back to mountain. Breath in, breath out. So let's go back through that one more time. I'm going to just give you kind of minimal cues. So just move at your own pace. Remember where the breath is and see how that goes for you. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Then right foot steps back. Set the knee down. Hands to the mat. Downward dog. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. Once more, inhale, lifting up, or you could do upward dog. Moving back, downward dog. One more breath. Stepping up with the right. And then stepping back foot up to the front. Lifting the arms. Back to mountain. Take a breath. And if you're a little faster or a little slower, that's fine. If you're a lot faster, maybe slow it down. But if you're slower, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Take it as slow as you need to, right? When we go too fast, we rush through it. We're not really getting that full expression of the pose. We're just kind of moving through. So take it a little slower if you need to. Inhale, lift. Fold. Step back with the left. Set your knee down. Downward dog. and lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Lift. And lower. Last one, lifting. Maybe upward dog. Ending up in downward dog. Take a breath. Then left foot steps up. Hands down to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold. Lifting the arms. Back to mountain. Breath in. Breath out. And then let's do some balance. So we can start on this left foot. Bring the right in, nice and upright. Shoulders back. Steady breath. Steady gaze. If you feel pretty good, you might extend the arms. Still trying to keep that upper body relaxed. Keep your breathing going. And then set everything back down. And we're going to switch sides. Standing on the right kickstand or further up. Steady breath. Bringing that balance to center. And then maybe some extension if you feel really good today, really solid. And if your tree is moving around, that's fine. Trees will do that. Nothing to worry about. Then set both feet back to the mat. Bicycle out the legs. From mountain, I'm just going to lift up that right knee. Steady here. Right? If you feel like doing more, you could catch a hold of the toe. Kind of coming back nice and upright, drawing that foot in close. And then if you, I don't think I feel steady enough for it, but if you do, you can extend the leg. Right? See how that works. Again, focus, find that visual focus. Eye level or higher makes it easier, makes it feel more stable. If that's not at all working for you, then just be here. It's all good. It's all just standing on one foot. And then set that right foot back down and we'll switch. So we're standing on the right, we've got the left extended. Knee is lifted. And then whatever you want to do here. But if you're going to extend, you want to make sure you're nice and upright before you start. Right? You don't want to be down here. Be upright. Bring that knee in close to the body. This is a great one to do up against a wall, right? Because that not only does it give you a little support, it also gives you the feedback. If you don't have a mirror, sometimes you think you're nice and upright and you're not. If you're up against a wall, you'll know. If you can't touch your shoulders to the wall, you aren't really upright. So it helps. Sometimes walls, things like that, it just gives you that kind of tactile feedback about where you are located in space, which can be very helpful. A lot of times, our idea of where we are is not at all where we are. Right? We just imagine that our arm is straight or it's straight up, but really it's down here, or maybe it's out here. So looking at it visually or using some kind of a prop or a wall, some kind of support can help you with that. Bicycle out the legs. I hope you weren't still holding that while I was talking. If so, good job with you. Big balance for you on that one. Come on back to the top, arms overhead. Breath in, exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward dog. Come on forward to high plank. Let's hold here for a breath. And lower down. Head turns right, arms by your side. Head to center. Arms stay by your side. Flip the hands so that the palms rest on the mat. And then we're lifting up head and chest, arms and legs. Lower down, head turns left. Head back to center, arms out in front, and we'll have one arm on top of the other. Whichever one you pick, switch, right? We always have one favorite, so let's do the opposite. Just because it's nice to mix it up from time to time. So we're going to rest the head down, forehead on the forearms, and then we're lifting up the arms, the head, the chest, and lift the legs, everything together. And lower down. Just relax here and breathe. Moving back up. Tabletop. Child's pose. Tabletop to downward dog. Walk the feet up. And then we're coming to a seat. Soles of the feet together. Deep breath in. Folding forward. Just going to the place where things begin to get tight. Every day is different with this, with everything in your practice. So just accepting it for where it is today, not wondering what happened. Why can't I fold as much as I did last week? Who knows? Just accept this is where we are and know that tomorrow we'll be somewhere else. That is the beauty of consistent practice, right? Consistent practice doesn't mean that every day is going to be easier or a deeper stretch or more strength. It just means that you can't help but make progress over time. You may not see it on a daily basis, but I can see it when we're in class. If you were to chart it somehow, but it's really hard because if you're doing consistent practice, what do you have to compare it to? I mean, you could compare yourself to someone who doesn't do yoga at all. You could see how your flexibility and your strength has improved compared to someone who's pretty sedentary. But you can just also just be assured that if you're doing this on a regular basis, you are making progress. And you may not see it with every pose, but there'll be a pose that will remind you that, oh yeah. But don't expect to get that feedback every day because it just doesn't really work that way. Some days you're going to be like, this is harder than the first day I started doing. And some days you'll breeze right through it. Who knows? Deep breath in, arms overhead, fold forward. Moving back up, bend the knee. We're going to bring it in right close to the body, sitting up tall. And then lower the knee out to the side. Right foot is right up against the left thigh. Take a deep breath in. And then we're going to lean forward, reaching that left hand down toward the foot. Fold. Coming back up. Switch. So right leg is out, left knee is bent. We're kind of hugging it in, sitting up tall. A few breaths, and then lower the knee out to the side. Deep breath, reaching right hand down toward the foot. Coming back up, both legs out in front. Deep breath in, fold forward. Moving back up. We're going to bend the knees. Soles of the feet are on the mat. Lowering down or rocking back. And get comfortable on the mat. Take a few breaths. Bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. You might stay here, pressing that knee away, or bring that left thigh in towards the chest. Hug it in. Breathe. And then set the left foot down. We're going to keep that right ankle on the left knee. Goalpost arms or out to a T with the arms. We're going to start lowering the left knee over to the side, and that right foot is going along for a twist. Back to your center. We'll switch. So now we've got left ankle on right knee. Taking whatever version you did on the other side. Also on this side. And then set the foot down. And we're going to do the same. Keep the shoulders on the mat. Moving right knee down. Left foot is coming long for the ride. Twisting. and then back to center. Bring both feet to the mat. We're going to get ready for bridge. So feet are about hip width apart, heels walk back close to the body, hands by your side, press down, hands and feet, lifting up the hips. Breathe. Lowering back down. Soles of the feet together. Knees apart. Relax here and breathe. And let's move into Shavasana here. You can just extend the legs, or you could stay here. Or if you want to lift the legs up and then lower them down, you could do that also. Your choice. We're just going to end up comfortably resting on the mat. And keep breathing. Keep that focus on the breath and the sensations in the body, resisting the urge to think about other things. Watch those thoughts arise and let them just float away. So this is a nice Buddha quote. I don't know, again, I can't verify that it's exactly a Buddha quote, but it's online as a Buddha quote, so we'll take it as that. In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. So we talk about love, right? Love is the self. It is that thing that binds us all, that joins us all together. So loving is remembering that we are all one. Living gently, well, that can mean a lot, right? It can mean being kind, treating people carefully and with kindness, It could also mean not wasting things, right? Being gentle um, on the environment, on your pocketbook, on everything, right? Um, not stomping your way through everything in your life. Being careful, looking to see what's really going on, and then making appropriate choices instead of just leaping to conclusions or barging in where you're not required. And how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. So, that idea of letting go um, is an acknowledgement that there are things that are not for you. They are not your responsibility. They are not appropriate for you. Um, they may be things that you once enjoyed or that were good for you at one point, but now they've served their purpose. It's time to let them go. They may be things that you mistakenly chose to have in your life um, that were never a good idea in the first place. Just let go of those things. The inability to set aside um, the things that are destructive to us, wasteful of our time, um, or just simply should be belong to someone else, um, is the root of a lot of suffering and unhappiness in our lives. So, understanding that that is, and knowing that we sometimes can't see that, right? We want to be aware of that possibility. So, look in your life and think of, are there things that I need to let go of? Um, Beliefs, objects. I mean, this could be real things or ways of thinking or relationships. I mean, there's a lot of things that we get attached to, that we form attachments to. If they aren't bringing you joy, if they aren't serving a purpose, um, they probably aren't necessary. So think about what you might let go. Moving a bit, fingers and toes, hands and feet. And then coming up to a seat if you want. Bring hands together, breath in and breath out. Thank you for taking time this morning for yoga and for sharing it with me. I hope you have a really good day. Namaste. Thank you for sharing yoga. Um, and we are going to move into meditation. So, getting comfortable, find a comfortable seat, a cushion, or a chair, whatever works for you today. Again, we're going to have one bell to start, 3 bells to end. So, however you're sitting, whatever you're sitting on, or wherever you're sitting, you want to be nice and upright. Shoulders are relaxed. Make sure you're not holding tension in the body. That's why I love to do meditation after yoga, because we've already let a lot of that tension out, right? So we should be able to sit for a little bit with any luck. Eyes are closed. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Slowing down the breath. Focusing on that space just in front of the closed eyes. Trying to find that empty space in between the thoughts and the images. Opening your eyes and getting back to everyday life. Hopefully, that wasn't um, too difficult today. Again, take every day as it comes and know that we're getting better with this. The consistency is what's key, right? Um, just coming and giving it 5 minutes, seeing what happens. Okay, so I'll be back tomorrow, weather permitting, and we'll see what happens. I hope that you guys have a good day and get something done. Maybe let something go. Maybe throw something away. I don't know. See what you feel like doing today about letting things go. I will see you tomorrow.